What is going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building and we have somebody very special with us today. Now, y'all know we have been into Ladies Who List, okay? We've been into it. Y'all have had a lot of discussions about it. So we finally have an expert on Ladies Who List in the room today. We have we have Miss Tiffany in the building, the closing attorney, okay?
Yes, everyone's favorite closing attorney. Let's get that right, okay?
Tiffany, first of all, I just want to say thank you for doing this. I mean, it's anytime we can have somebody from the show come on and speak about the show, the storylines, the experience. We always love to have it, and taking the time out, it means a lot to us. So thank you, first of all.
Well, look, I appreciate the support and the fact that y'all are watching, no matter what the opinion is. I just am so thankful that there are people time out to watch me every Friday. So I'm also very appreciative of you guys.
Hey, okay. So I want to start things off first, okay? Now, we watching all of these real estate shows. There's a lot of real estate shows out right now, and for me, it was exciting that we have women of color on our screen representing, okay? Now, I was just we were just talking beforehand. I was talking to Gemma beforehand, and I hadn't mentioned this to anybody. Y'all got me so interested in this real estate game that I signed up to take classes next Tuesday, okay, to get my real estate license. I don't know what I'm thinking I'm about to do, okay, because I know it's a lot of time and a lot of effort. I really don't. But I felt like God was just telling me to move, so I did. How did you get into real estate? And then how did you become a closing attorney? And tell us what that is, because a lot of people had never really heard of this term.
Right. I never heard of the term prior to me getting in the industry. And so my story begins as always wanted to be an attorney. It's something that I wanted for myself at like an early age of 8. And what ended up happening is when I graduated undergrad, I graduated pregnant with my oldest son, who's 15 now. And so my idea, I had already law school. I got accepted into law school into Texas. I was getting ready to head out, and boom, I find out I was pregnant. Well, of course, my life changed in that moment. So it was like, what are we going to do as a couple? What am I going to do with my life? And my now husband, he was just my boyfriend back then. He was like, whatever you want to do, let's just go ahead and do that. So instead of going to law school, I ended up to get my paralegal certificate from like those little programs you can go through. And when I graduated from that, I sent my out to every law firm in Augusta, Georgia. And the one law firm that called me back was a real estate closing attorney office. I never even connected real estate with law. Like, I didn't even know that there was a law portion with it. And so, of course, they called me back, I interviewed, and I got the job. This was my first time being exposed to home ownership, my first time being exposed to real estate, and my first time being exposed to knowing that there are attorneys who deal in real estate. My idea of being an attorney was like in somebody's courtroom, like, these are the facts, I never knew that it was anything to do with real estate. So when I got that job, it exposed me to this new world, just like you're about to be exposed to it. Maybe you don't sell real estate, but maybe you now invest in real estate. What I'm saying, your first exposure to it opens the doors up for so much. And so when I started working there, the attorney was like, well, you can buy a house. I'm like, I don't make no money. Like, I can't buy no house. I made like $9 an hour. My husband at that time made like $10 an hour. And he was like, they have 100% financing. We bought our first $1,000 townhome. Our mortgage payment was $650. So I wouldn't have never bought a house if I didn't work for him.
Wow.
Right. So that exposure led me to be like, oh, okay. So I worked for that attorney, then I worked for another one, and I worked for another one, all doing real estate. Well, when my husband lost his job back in 2009 with the economy crash, whenever the economy crashed. And so he was like, well, at this point, Tiffany, let's just go ahead and leave Augusta. Let's move to Atlanta. I'll find a job up there so that you can go to law school. that we moved up here. I went to law school part-time. So I worked during the day at a real estate closing office from 9 to 5. And then from 6 to 10, I went to law school for 3.5 years. When I graduated, I took the bar, passed it on my first time, and opened up Hawes Law Firm. That's how I got into real estate.
Wow. Well, I mean, the fact that you took it and you passed it the first time is like you're a beast that's a beast in and of itself right there. Okay.
Look, I'm focused. So when I put my mind to do something, I'm going to do it.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. I had a couple of quick questions in the chat. Can you guys hear us and see us clearly? Let me know that. Somebody said it was choppy just a little bit. I want to get into how did you get, what made you decide to do this show? How did that come about? Because you're successful already where you are. What led you to say, you know what, this is going to be my next step?
Well, number one, we definitely have to look at it as an opportunity. Social media is amazing and putting us in front of people who would otherwise not see us. So an even bigger platform is being on national television that will put you in front of people who would not know you otherwise, right? So you have that part for your brand, just the brand exposure. But also, I know my story and I know all the different hurdles that I had to jump, getting pregnant at an early age, not being able to achieve my dreams immediately the way that I wanted to, but still somehow finding a way to do it, even going to law school at night and still working because we had to provide for our family. So I knew that there are so many people who get roadblocked by different things that come up in their lives and they can't see past it. I want to be an example for those who can't see past it, to show them you can see past it. You can just, the hurdles gonna come. You can just jump over, overcome it, and still accomplish those dreams. It may not be in the time that you would have wanted it to happen, but God's divine timing is real. If I would have went to law school right out of undergrad, I wouldn't have had no experience. I was able to go to law school and open up my firm immediately because of the experience of me being a paralegal. That led me to be able to do my own thing immediately. I would have been stuck working for somebody else, probably not in real estate, probably miserable doing something that I would not have wanted to, where now I actually get to help people create wealth for their family. So I just wanted to spread my story because I know a lot of people's story is my exact same story.
Do you feel like the show is exactly what you expected it to be? Or have you, I guess a better question is, do you feel like you're able to capitalize on the show as best as you could?
Absolutely not. In this sense, right? My first time doing reality TV. So my expectations is this is gonna be something that is gonna highlight all of us in our business, just business aspects. You'll meet my family and all of this other kind of stuff. But the reality of any reality TV show or any television show is that you have to grab the attention of the audience. You have to capture them first before you lead into these stories, right? And so do I feel like my story is being executed the way I thought? I don't, but I've learned to be patient because right now, do you know how many people are reaching out to me about anxiety? Do you know how many people are saying, Tiffany, I didn't even know what it was, and now I have a name attached to it. So although y'all are not asking me about real estate, you are asking me about things that can actually save someone's life, right? Because to me, mental health is a life or death thing. When I was going through my mental health struggles, not that I wanted to commit suicide, right? And this was hard for me to even tell my husband. I was in a place where I was like, cannot continue living like this, right? Like, I don't even know. I can't another day and live through these thoughts, live through these feelings, live through the physical symptoms of me having anxiety. And in the same breath, it was like, but I can't see myself getting out of this hole either. So I didn't want to live like this another day. And I also didn't see a way out of the hole. Not that I was actively thinking about committing suicide, but if I myself out of it, you know, what then? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was hard for me to physically express that or verbally express that, especially to my family. But it's something about having a supportive family, like those that are going to be in your corner, like, you will get through this. You know, my therapist, definitely, you will get through this. These are the tools. And they gave me the tools, and I actively worked to those tools. And although I didn't feel relief immediately, it slowly got there. Just like, although I didn't get the satisfaction of going to law school immediately, it slowly got there. It got there later in life, but the benefit is still the same.
You know, I think that to me was what made you stand out the most, was how open you were about your mental health journey. And as someone who has also experienced anxiety, there's something about hearing someone on the screen talk about an experience that you have felt, but maybe had not always been able to put a name to or to really process and understand. I related to it. And I know that a lot of my viewers and my community right here related to it as well. So for me, I just have to say thank you for being open about that, because I don't know if everybody's asking you about real estate, but you are definitely helping to save some lives on a real level. So I just got to say thank you for that, first of all, because that's real. I want to talk to you about Robin, because it was your journey that seemed to bridge a gap between you. Did you guys know each other beforehand or know of each other?
I knew of her via Instagram. So we followed each other on Instagram. And she's absolutely beautiful, and she's funny on social media. So I would keep up with her on Instagram. But my first time meeting her was the first time that y'all saw us at that dinner together. That was the first time that I had ever met Robin. I only seen her on Instagram, and me seeing her on Instagram, I had no idea she was dealing with anything mental, because she didn't post that. She's beautiful. She's selling real estate. You know, she's funny. She would keep it real on her Instagram. So it was entertaining for me, but I had no idea that she went through anything mental. That was my first time meeting her in person.
What did you see in that moment or feel in that moment that led you to say, I need to support her in this moment? Because it was interesting that her sort of best friend, Crystal, was not able to see what she needed in that moment. What do you think that you saw that said, you know what? I need to check on her. I need to have her back.
Well, when we're sitting there and, you know, Robin is pitching this idea, I didn't quite understand the direction she was going. And she couldn't quite articulate exactly what her idea was. But in the midst of that, you're coming together with women, and you're trying to bring us all together with this idea. And Kiana brought up, you know, the issue that she was having with her, like, hey, you want to collaborate with us, but we still have this, you know, standing issue with something that they went through personally, because they did know each other. And so they were discussing that, and it was fine. The atmosphere was fine. They were discussing it. And then Kira had something that she wanted to bring up. And although it seems like Kira really cared about an unfollow, there was more to the story that kind of amplified her response that people don't know. She definitely did not care as much about as a unfollow as the world is watching and sees. But anyways, they were all having these discussions. And when Robin and Kiana, you know, kind of further went into their discussion, Robin says, look, I was going through some things mentally where I wasn't like aware of things that I was saying and all of that. And when she said that to me, not to me, but when she mentioned that she was going through something mentally, I had just gotten out of my hole. So immediately my heart is like, it goes from Tiffany, mind your business, to Tiffany, listen to what she's saying. And when she said that, and her and Kiana kept kind of going, and I said, wait, guys, hold on just a second. She said that she was going through some mental things. Now, when I went through my mental things, Kiana was FaceTiming me. She was texting me. She was like, Tiffany, are you okay? She was really empathetic to me when I was going through what I was going through. So I knew that Kiana does care about people's mental health because she did care about mine. So I was like, hey, Q, you were there for me when I went through my mental thing. Although you didn't know like how big it was, you still cared. So if you care for me, let's just show a little grace to Robin. We don't know if it's true or not, but if somebody is bringing this up and they're saying they were dealing with it, let's believe them the first time. And let's give her a little grace. And maybe since y'all do know each other, y'all can discuss this outside of us strangers, so it doesn't seem as amplified of an issue if y'all are having this conversation in private. So I mind my business, y'all, I promise, 90% of the time. But when she brought up mental, it's like, it just opened my heart and my mind and my ear to like listen to this lady. You know what I'm saying? Like listen to what she's saying, because oftentimes we don't listen to people. I don't know if y'all seen that beautiful lady who was like America's US, the pageant winner or whatever. Beautiful. She was an attorney. She seemed like she had a great job. And now she done, I believe, committed suicide because of things that she was dealing with mentally. People don't listen. People don't listen. And it's like, if other people ain't gonna listen, I'm gonna listen because I know what I went through. So I'm gonna hear you and I'm gonna give you an opportunity. I'm gonna be there for you and give you an opportunity to walk this thing out,
Who I noticed that you mentioned that Kiana was there for you when you were going through your tough times, and I can gather from what we see on the show that you had already had a relationship with Tiana and with Kira. Were those sort of your core people that you knew going into this?
Yeah. So I knew me and Tiana, we've known each other. I've known Kiana the longest. Me and Kiana, we've known each other the longest. We've been doing business together for a really, really long time. And so I've known her, me and Tiana, and me and Kira. We all developed our relationships via work. But because you work with people all the time, sometimes those relationships do develop into friendships. So we were actually all friends prior to the show. Robin, I didn't know Robin except me seeing her on social media. Me and Crystal, we're in the same industry and we kind of work with some of the same people. Like Kiana closes with me and she closes with Crystal. So we've been to functions and around each other for several years as well. We've just never taken our relationship to a personal relationship. It's just kind of like we see each other in the industry, we speak, we're cordial, we're respectful, and we move on.
You mentioned that Kiana may sometimes close with either you or Crystal. Is that common in the closing space? Because for a lot of us, we don't know.
Yeah, so there's tons of closing attorneys in Atlanta, right? And sometimes you may have a client where you might be like, well, I think Tiffany is a better fit for this client, so I'm going to recommend they close with Tiffany. Or I think Crystal may be a better fit for this client, or maybe the location of our offices. It may, if the property is in Gwinnett County, she's going to say, well, I'm going to put Tiffany on this contract because her office is in Gwinnett County. Or we want to have a huge celebration closing party at the house. Well, this is what Tiffany does, so I want her to do this closing. And so maybe she wants Crystal to do certain closings because of just the people. You kind of match people up with people. And then people have their own preferences as well. So it's not uncommon for people to have like multiple vendors that they use with. So it's definitely not uncommon for that to happen.
Okay, so with that being said, what were your thoughts about Crystal's meeting with Kira? Because from what I gathered, what it looked like on the show is that Kira was kind of more, closed a bit more with you. Did it? Because to the audience, it seemed kind of like, is this appropriate?
Right. So my thoughts on this is Crystal doesn't owe me anything, right? She doesn't owe like me one thing. The problem that I have with it is this. During this whole like show and different things, people throw out this term collaboration over competition. We need Black women to get together and come together and we do this thing together, right? Everybody knows that Kira, she definitely exclusively, I'm her preferred closing attorney, right? When Kira first got into the business, I was there with Kira's first, second closing, right? And so she closes with me exclusively. If Crystal wants to go after her business, that is totally fine. But in the same breath, you can't have me in a room with you talking about collaboration over competition or Black women support each other when you're directly putting your hand in my purse, taking my money out. That is the problem that I have with it. If you want to keep it business, but let's not go and say there is no competition, because when you do try to woo somebody that exclusively closes with somebody or has a preferred vendor, that's competing.
Mm-hmm.
That's competition. So it's just the idea of, no, I'm not competing, what you're saying out of your mouth, but your actions are something else. That's what I have a problem with. Now, can Crystal go out there and every agent that deals with Hawes Law Firm, can she go out there and market to them? I don't care what she does. Like, you have absolutely every right to do that. But let me tell you about me. Even in with everything that's going on, and even though I empathize with Robin and we've kind of had our moments of mental health to mental health person, I never once asked Robin for her business. Robin said that she was no longer closing with Crystal and she was interested in my law firm. I told Robin, no, I don't even want the appearance of me looking like I was only being nice to you to get your business. Because I don't want to come in between you and Crystal on a business thing. I'm just empathizing with you simply because I care about your mental health. I saw how you were. I felt your energy that night. So I'm just being concerned with you and your life, not you and your business. So even in their darkest moment of their friendship, I still wasn't trying to come in and get her business. So me and Crystal may move two different ways, which is totally fine. She doesn't owe me anything. It was just my response to, like, dang, girl, we just had a meeting about Black people supporting women. And I didn't know people who support people go in their pockets trying to take money out of their wallets.
Does that ever get addressed in in the future at all?
I don't directly ask her anything about, like, why did you go to Kira? Because again, she doesn't owe me anything.
Right,
so
right.
Why would I even ask that question? But definitely in the future, you will see us kind of meet up and talk about, our relationship. But I never directly ask her, any questions about why did she take Kira? Because, honestly, or why did she try to attempt to take Kira? Because Kira's grown. If Kira wanted to go close with Crystal, Kira has every right to do that. So I'm not going to question, anything that happens like that.
I just gotta say, I mean, and the people in the chat are kind of commenting as well about the amount of integrity that you have. And I just want to applaud you for that, because it's just nice to see. We like being entertained and we like a little bit of drama when we're watching our television shows, but we also like to see people with integrity. And so I want to say thank you for that.
Thank you for noticing.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I wanted to ask you really quick before I let you go. Two things. One, your husband. You made a post about your husband, which I thought was amazing because I did not. Obviously when we watch these shows, we want to know, like, okay, well, you know, what does he do? Because you're obviously popping, right? So can you tell the audience a little bit about what your husband does? Because it was a really nice post, and I'm going to put it in the description, but I just think it would be nice to come from you.
Yeah, so when you're on reality TV, you don't realize that the things that you say can be interpreted in many different ways. My husband did quit his job to support me and my mental health. He worked in the automotive industry for over 10 years, making loads of money. People don't realize, like, being in a sales environment, he wasn't a car salesman, but being in that environment, these people make tons of money. They don't need no degrees. They don't need nothing. They make really, really good money. And so he was in that industry for 10 plus years. However, being in the automotive industry, you literally have to work from 6 a.m. to 8, 9 o'clock at night, right? Because you only get paid what you eat. So if you ain't working, you're not getting paid. So he would work all the time. All my children are involved in sports. So he's missing practices. He's missing games. He's, you know, I'm out here trying to juggle it all because he's at work. Well, when I went through my mental breakdown, he also has been doing real estate investing on the side for all these years. Real estate is flexible, so you can hold down a 9-to-5 job and do real estate on the side, and it won't be competing with one another. He's always wanted to just do real estate solely. So when I went through this, we've set up our life financially where if I didn't want to work or he didn't want to work, it wouldn't matter. We've paid off our home. We don't have any debt, no student loans, all of that. And so when I went through that, he said, you know what, Tiffany, I'm just going to jump out and do my building and do my real estate investing full time so that I can, number one, help with the children and be there with the children. Number two, support you through this. He would literally come to my job and drive me to my job. He also ended up studying for his builder's license during this time when he quit his job. So he's supporting me, coming here, driving me to work because I was quite honestly afraid to just be alone. And he would study for his builder's license. Well, June is when I started feeling a little bit better. July, he took all his tests. He passed his builder's license. So now he's a licensed general contractor. He doesn't have to go through anybody to help him build. He's built multiple homes for people. Right now, he has 2 homes built that are getting ready to be put on the market. He's building 2 more. And he is he has an Airbnb property. We have rental properties in Augusta. So to answer people's questions, my husband is not leeching off of his rich wife. His rich wife has been supported by her husband her whole entire life. I don't pay bills. I've never paid a bill. He holds down the household, period. Okay. So, and anything that we do it together. So he ain't no leech, y'all. And he just got on social media with his little company, but he's not on social media. So he's not one of those people that you will see, hey, this is what I do. This is who I am. He's no Instagram Jeff. He likes to be in the background. He likes to support his wife, and that's it.
I love that. And I was so happy when I saw you post that because I was like, we all wanted to know like more about him. And you said he quit his job. Like everybody was like, hey,
what he doing?
It was admirable, but we was like, well, what are you doing? you
right.
know? And another question before we go. Do you know if we'll get a Ladies Who List Atlanta reunion for season 1?
It's in the works.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the works. I don't know if it's green lighted yet, but if they do have one, I'll definitely be there.
All right. Well, that's what we wanted to know right there. We wanted to know that. And again, Tiffany, so thank you so much for just taking out some time today to chat with us. We appreciate it. And I can already tell you by the comments in here, everybody feels completely blessed to have been a part of this experience. So thank you. And can you tell people where they can find you on social media and everywhere else?
Yes. So you all, well, number one, I appreciate you guys. I'm only here to be authentically myself. I'm not here to turn up for the cameras. So you might not see any drama from me unless I'm at my children's sports games. That you'll get all the tea if I'm there because I'm the crazy sports mom. But you guys can follow me on Instagram, Tiffany Hawes, Tiffani Hawes underscore closing attorney. Tiffany Hawes on Facebook. And I'm also on Twitter now. Like I never was on Twitter, but I be tweeting on Twitter now. And it's Tiffany Hawes closing attorney as well.
Awesome. Tiffany, thank you so much. And everybody in the chat, thank you for tuning in. As we always tell y'all, I love y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay safe out there. Tiffany, you stay safe, and we cannot wait to see more from you on Ladies Who List Atlanta. Skye Squad, we are out.
All right, guys. Bye. Good seeing you guys.
Bye.
Bye.